Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. We make friendship bracelets and that's pretty much it, so make sure to subscribe if you feel like it. But today, we are doing a tutorial for this beautiful kind of monochrome, lovely, I don't know what this is, I want to call it the Peruvian diamond, but I'm not quite sure. We're doing a tutorial for this bracelet and it is so simple, you guys will love it and I think you guys will all be able to make it. I'm going to be doing my last one in neon yellow. So, here's what we gotta do. This bracelet requires 12 strings and one a little bit longer for the loop, so we're gonna cut 6 strings. Mine are already pre-cut, but one of those 6 strings is gonna be about, I don't know, 10 inches longer than the rest. And make sure all your strings are about, I think, 5 feet. And then they'll fold in half, which will be like 2.5 feet. So cut 6 strings at about 5 feet in length, and one of them is a little bit longer for a loop. Now you guys will find the flat edge where you can see all your strings where they're all together and fold it in half. So find the other side with the longer thread. You can see it here, and then we're gonna bunch up these longer threads to these threads too. So yay, then we're gonna fold in half and find the midpoint. My midpoint is right about here. I'm gonna go, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch down and pick a point to clip onto my clipboard. This point is where we start the loop, and in case you guys don't know how to make a beginning loop, I have a beginning knots, a basic knots tutorial linked in the description box already. So we are going to start off by doing forward-backward knots, and I find that a perfect number of forward-backward knots is 17. Remembering that you have to knot twice, so forward-backward. Do that until you have 17 knots, and now that this beautiful beginning loop is long enough, we will pull all the threads out and just kind of fold it in half, work it, make it look nice. Woo! There we go, pinch it pretty hard. Now we're gonna do just a sealing off little knot just to ensure that everything stays in place and looks nice. So I'm gonna choose the 2 outermost threads. You can see that I've already selected mine. I'm going to do that little knot thing where you take the left side and fold it over all the threads, and then take the right side and then push it underneath every thread until you reach the other side. I'm going to do that twice, so we've just done it once. I'm going to pull tight, 1, and then I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to fold the left side over, fold the right side over the left side, and then push it underneath all the strings. And there you have your beginning loop, and now you're ready to start off the whole bracelet. Okay, now that we are zoomed in, let's do this. I'm gonna pull tight one more time. Okay, so we have 6 threads on this side and 6 threads on this side. Let me just double check to make sure I'm not doomed. Yes, we're good. We're gonna start off with a beginning kind of shape start thing. So what you wanna do is choose one side to focus on, and then take the middlemost string and start doing backward forward knots. So you do a backward forward knot over the whole bundle, and then you leave it in the middle, so then you don't think about it. So now you only have 5 strings here, so you take the next one closest to the middle, do a backward forward knot, and then you leave it out. So now you have a bundle of 4 strings, and then you just repeat this process until you only have 1 string left. So backward forward, leave out, backward forward, leave out, and then you have 2 strings left, and then you do backward forward and leave it out. Ta-da! Then you take all those threads and you move them back and focus on the next side. So yeah, there we go. Now we'll be doing forward backward knots with this side. So we take the innermost one, do a forward backward, leave it in, do a forward backward, and repeat. Leave it in. Forward. Backward. And one last final time, we'll do one last forward backward knot. In order to achieve this kind of perfect little start thing, like this one, you have to tie the first few knots and all the rest in a very specific order. So make sure you do the exact same knots that I do here. So find the middle 2 strings, and you're gonna do a backward knot with the right one over the left. But Then you take this knot, and instead of just tying knots down the row, you actually want to take each individual string, like this next string, and we're going to take this one on the right and do a backward knot over the one on the left. And then you repeat. So you take the next string in line, and then you do a backward knot over that string, thus ensuring it's in the middle of the knot. Then you take the next string, and you definitely want to do a backward knot over it again. And then you take that final string in line and do a backward knot. But then you want to do one more backward knot with that string on the right. So now it's time to do the opposite thing on the left. So you find that string that was in the middle with the other one. Hold on. Meh. Okay, there we go. I have my middle string. There it is. So you want to take the one closest to it on the left, and you want to do a forward knot over it. And then you want to do another forward knot over it again with the next string in line. And you want to repeat that process till you get all the way to the bottom. Yellow is probably the worst color to use for this tutorial, but I did all these 3 today, and this bracelet takes like an hour and a half, so yeah, that's fun. So yeah, let's continue. So now we leave these 2 strings on the outside out, and you find the middle 2 again. Hopefully I can guide you with my voice over the video clip, because we're in for a wild ride with this bracelet, even though it's pretty simple, so we're almost halfway done. So you want to tie those 2 together in a forward knot, or a backward knot. Well, I'm going to do a forward knot. Then you take the one on the right, and you take all the strings on the right, except for that last one. There should be 4 right here in your hand. And you want to do, with the first one, you want to do a backward knot over that string again. And you want to repeat until all 4 of these threads have done a backward knot over this thread. When that is finished, you want to take the one in the middle still, and then you have 4 strings on the left of it. And with that first one closest, you really want to do a forward knot over that string. And then you want to continue doing those forward knots over that string until it reaches the edge, making sure not to use this one, because you only want 4. Okay, now that we are finished with this, the kind of, I don't know how to describe it. The mood changes a little bit with the bracelet, so I'm going to zoom out just a little bit to show you what happens next. So I like to make 11 of these little diamond things, but we are halfway done with 1 diamond. So let's put it back and continue. So these 2 strings on the outside now become what I'm going to call our base threads in this situation. So you have you have 8 strings in the middle, so you're going to split them up 4 and 4 like how they were, because they're kind of already in an order of themselves. You see that? And you're going to take these 2 threads and you're going to hold them very nicely. And then you're going to take one of these, the middle one down, because here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be folding it in, which looks like this. Can you see that? It's kind of weird. Let's do it. So you take this one, you take 2 on the outermost right side, and the next one, the 3rd on the outermost right side, and you're going to take it, you're going to move it around and start doing forward knots. So with that string, you're going to do a forward knot over the one closest to it, and then you're going to do another forward knot with it over the outermost string. So then you have that weird new thing. So now you hold these 2 as their base threads, you grab the next one in, and you do 2 forward knots. So 2 forward knots. That's just kind of making that frilly inside thing, the Peruvian part, so to speak. Then you repeat again, so you grab the 3rd one, and then you do 2 forward knots. And then with the 4th one in the middle, because there's still 4 on the other side, you're going to do 1 last set of forward knots. So that's that. That was that side. Now we have to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take these 6 strings and just move them over there and focus on this side. So we'll take these 2 new base threads and this innermost thread, and we'll start doing backward knots. So we'll do a backward knot over the first one, and then a backward knot over the 2nd thread. Then we'll take the next one in line and do a backward knot over the 1st thread, and then a backward knot over the 2nd thread. Once again, with that 3rd string in, we'll take it and we'll do 2 backward knots Then finally, we'll do our last backward knot thing. Okay, so with these four now in the middle strings, you have these two and you have these two that are now kind of in the middle. We need to connect them in a very specific way that will determine how your bracelet will look. So hold them together very tightly. Then you're going to take the one on the middle on the left side, so that would be this one. You're going to take that same middle on the right side, so that's this one, and you're going to do a forward knot with the one on the left over the one on the right, and you're going to pull tight because you don't want to mess this up. So once you've done that knot, you're going to take the string and do one more forward knot over that string left, and you're going to just do that forward knot. Then with this string, you're going to do 2 forward knots over those last 2 remaining threads. Then you can flip it over and see your good works before we finish off this kind of repeating pattern thing. We can take a look. Let's take a look. Yay! You have a diamond done. Congratulations. Let's continue. So this is the last step before we before I let you guys go and you can repeat the tutorial. I'm gonna zoom out. So you take these two, you hold them in. These inner 4 are your new base threads, kind of. So with these inner 2, these are your base threads, and these become your, I don't know, I'm gonna call them frilling threads, or not. Okay, I can't say my R's. That's not a good thing to say. We'll just call them a working thread. So with this working thread, you're gonna do a backward knot over both of these base threads. There we go. 1 backward knot, 2 backward knots. And now that thread, you may start to realize, is back in that same position it was up here. We're kind of just redoing that. So yay. Then you take that next thread, the same concept, this one, does 2 backward knots over these ones. I'm gonna zoom out so you can see my hands doing it. Okay, no I can't. But yeah. Take it, backward knot, backward knot. Then take the next one, the third one to the outside, on the right side, and do 2 backward knots. There we go. Then with that final one, we'll take it and we'll do a backward knot. This is important because you kind of want to let it just loosely scrunch up and then pull tight. Unless you want it more scrunched, but you really want to be loose on that first half of the knot when you're tying on the outside. So now that you've seen us do this section, you kind of probably get the idea for the next side to complete this kind of thing out. So these are our base threads. This is our working thread, and you're gonna do 2 forward knots over your base threads. And just make sure you repeat until all of these guys are on there. So let's repeat. With that working thread, you're gonna do 2 forward knots over the base thread. Third one to the outside, take it, do 2 forward knots over those base threads. I'm gonna zoom in now. One more time. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Woo! And then with that final one, you're gonna do 2 forward knots over the base threads. Now that is essentially all you do for this bracelet, because then you're gonna start doing that same repeating thing from right here. Continue to do it until you have 11 diamonds. That is it for this bracelet. I hope you are doing good, and I hope it's really easy for you guys. Now it is time for the triangle end on this bracelet. I'm going to show you what mine looks like on the front, which is really the back, because we're not knotting this side. Looking good. Let's just finish off this quick little thing and be on our way. So what I'm going to do is split up the 2 sides, 6 strings on each side still, and I'm going to take the one on the outside, and I'm going to take the one second to the outside, and with this string, I'm going to do a backward knot over the outermost thread, so a backward knot over that thread, but then I'm going to join them together, so now these 2 are one thread, kind of a special concept. So then you take the one now third in, because these 2 are now 1, so you take the next one in, and you do a backward knot over both of those threads, and then you add it to the mix. So now you have 3 threads here, and 1 here, you're going to do a backward knot over all 3, then you can add it to the mix and do a backward knot with the next thread in line. Woo! And then finally, one last time, you'll do a backward knot over all 5 of the threads. Beautiful. Okay, let's do the same other thing on the other side except with forward knots. Take the outermost thread and the second outermost thread, and with this second outermost thread, sorry, we're gonna do a forward knot, add it to the bundle, then take the next one in, do another forward knot over both of those threads, add it to the bundle, take the next one, do a forward knot over all 3 threads, add it to the bundle, and continue the process. So add it to the bundle and do another knot. Now we are almost done. All we have to do is whatever kind of tie we'd like to do for the end. I personally am going to do 2 little braided ties, so we'll see you back here when it's done. Okay, everybody, I have finished my bracelet. Actually, I finished 5 of these. They'll be available on my Etsy if you want to go check them out. A link will be in the description box, and I hope you enjoyed the pattern and have a wonderful day. Make sure to tune in for next time's video. Bye!